Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Big Screen Show. My name is Victor,
I'm Jorge.
I'm Alex.
and we are back for our episode 5 recap and review of Secret Invasion. What an episode. Guys, what are your general thoughts on this episode? Please let me know.
You want to start, Alex, this time?
Yeah. I'd say the episode has really gotten way more intense, like same as it was from last week's episode.
Yeah.
Especially continuing on from with like the attack on the president
Right.
Yeah, right.
and how like things are really getting more intense and things are really coming down the line.
Escalating, yeah.
Yeah, escalating
for
more
sure.
like growth like Gravik basically going to the more extreme than we've seen him or as he's plotted in like the last episodes.
Right.
Mhm.
And then with Nick Fury really just trying to get back into like his old mindset from how he was before
Yeah,
he was at the beginning of Secret Invasion,
for sure.
becoming like his older version of himself that he used to be. So like he's really starting to like get really back in the groove of things to finally defeat Gravik.
Yes. Yes, I agree. What about you?
Well, I think it was a great episode. I love this episode because I think it was the most action-packed episode from like five
For
episodes.
sure.
Five
Yeah.
episodes.
The pace was definitely like the highest, for sure.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I
And
agree.
I really like that. I like that the action sequences were actually one of the best that I've seen in the MCU so far. I can't lie.
Okay.
Like they kind of reminded me of like Winter Soldier a little bit.
Okay.
Because of like the brutality and like the speed of the scenes and like how quick the movements were in the fights with the knives, with the guns. I think it was like shot perfectly, and in general I really liked it. I don't think that they showed us like they reveal a big plot in this episode, but they just like build the bridge to the finale,
Mm-hmm.
continuing what we saw in the fourth episode. So I think it was a good episode to kind of like connect both the fourth episode and the finale. So I'm looking forward to it to see what's gonna happen. But in this episode, I really liked it.
Yeah, I agree. Your point on connecting the fourth episode with the finale, I totally agree because this episode definitely feels like a like a part 2 almost to the last episode.
Basically,
where
exactly.
if there was never a split into 2 episodes, it could have been one just big episode,
Exactly.
and it
yeah.
would have made complete sense. Especially because it ended with the president situation, and it started immediately
Right
with the
after,
president
yeah,
situation.
exactly.
It almost felt seamless. If you were to watch them back to back, so I really liked that, and it kept, from the start of episode 4, it gradually built up to this, and then there was this big climax, and the episode ended, and this week's episode started at this climax and only just went even higher.
Exactly.
So we're nearing down the end. I love this episode. I agree. It's definitely like on pace with the fourth episode as well
It
as
is.
to be my favorites. The seriousness, the tone of like the intensity, like you're on the edge of your seat basically from start to finish because everything is just so fast. Like this, the pace, like you said,
Right.
like I love the pace of it. I thought again, I'll reiterate what you said. The way it was shot was like perfect. Like, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And just a lot of and there's a lot of emotion too, which I appreciated. With everything that's going on with Gaia and her father Talos and things like this, and just like Fury almost like battling. Just, I think what touched me a lot was him battling like himself with like his past mistakes. He basically
Okay.
said like blaming himself for what's going on right now.
Okay.
I thought that was like really powerful, and like he basically like took. That's why he's like not calling his his friends,
Right.
and he's like,
right.
I'm gonna handle this because I'm the only one who can handle this, and I need to save the world from this because I'm the one who put the world in this danger.
Right.
And I really thought that was deep, and I really
It's the most personal problem probably Fury has faced so far in his
For,
life.
no
you know?
doubt, yeah,
Yeah.
it's zero doubt about that. So I really enjoyed that, and the episode was just amazing. The next week's episode, I
Yeah,
can't,
I can't wait
The
for
final
the finale.
episode.
yeah,
yeah.
I can't wait.
I
for
don't
it.
even know what might happen.
Yeah,
I mean, I have some theories, but like beyond like a few thoughts that I might have, I don't know what they're gonna show us for
I
the
agree,
finale.
especially with some of the new things that were revealed in this episode, which we'll touch on a little later.
Right.
I'm even more like, well, you would think there'd be more to develop, so I really don't know. But one request I do have is that I thought we were gonna go back to longer episodes, but it kept around the same time frame as the previous episode.
Yeah.
So I hope this finale is actually like, you know, longer, like around
Take its time,
like
yeah.
around the 50-minute mark. Like I
Yeah.
would really enjoy that.
Same.
But I have faith in the sense that if it is another shorter episode, I have faith that it'll be wrapped up nicely because they really have not missed on any episode this whole show. So,
Yeah.
really props to Marvel with the show because
Yeah.
they did a great job for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so spoiler alert. You have been warned. This is it. This is your spoiler warning. Click off the video if you haven't seen it or desire not to hear specifics and details because moving forward, we will be discussing specifics and details. So this is your spoiler warning. Click off the video. Okay, so I think one of the first things we should definitely talk about is Gravik's scroll form and his intensity even in his human form in this episode because it really has gone up not just one level, it has gone up a few levels.
Yeah.
And it is insane. It is amazing. We've been talking about how much we love him this entire season so far, but he has taken it up to a level where it really just it blows my I was so shocked watching it.
Yeah.
The performance is amazing.
Amazing.
It's literally top tier.
Yeah.
Thoughts, general thought, or just give me your thoughts on Gravik in this episode.
Well, I'm very happy to finally put a scroll face to that character. I've been waiting for it for so long.
Right.
We've had the human actor, you know, if we want to call it, but now to see him as a scroll, he finally gives him way much more presence to the character. He gives him an edge that he has it when he's a human, but as a scroll you see it as its full potential. So I really like that. And for me, Gravik it's easily has become one of the best villains in the MCU.
Okay.
Like personally I think that his motivations are pretty understandable, you know, and what I like the most about Gravik is that he does what he says he's gonna do, you know.
Yeah.
So like considering like MCU villains, like he actually achieves and strives for his goal, considering that his goal is kind of like relatable in a way, that he's trying to find a new home for his people. But I think it's a great villain. I think like the revealing in this episode of like how he's losing control and how his own people try to take him out, and then he showed his true form and like went crazy against everybody was perfect.
He's definitely sending a message to his people.
Yeah.
Like, don't mess with me.
Exactly. Like, I'm above you all. I can take any of you right now.
Yeah.
And like they showed it, the brutality of how he took his fellow scrolls was crazy to me.
Yeah.
So brutal. I mean, he literally slashed the throat of one of them right in front of the people just to send a message saying like, "This is what happens when you try to go against me. Either you fall in line, or you're just an obstacle in my way, and I will take you out without hesitation."
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
No, I agree with Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely. I agree, and I think the way in his human form before he turned into a scroll form, the way he elevated that side of himself as well in this episode, you could tell like when he called Fury, he was so demanding.
Yeah.
And I really it was like, you know, it went up levels because compared to the conversation he had with Fury in the museum, it's not the same tone at all. Like he means like full business, and I thought that was like a very powerful scene, especially because they both knew what they were talking about without needing to say it until they said it. But if they would have never said it, it would have still been fine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was implicit.
It was exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I love that scene. It was one of my favorite scenes just because. That's when I could just tell, because you know that was before he turned into a scroll. So that's what I could tell. I was like, oh, he's not playing any games.
No.
Yeah, I was like, he's definitely very serious. Thoughts on Gravik?
No, actually, I actually agree with most of what you said because again, with this conversation with Fury, all like different from how it was when he was talking with like Talos in the museum back in episode 4,
Episode 3.
Yeah.
Episode 3. I think it also kind of
Yeah.
So like back in like episode 3, relating back to that, while when Gravik is like talking with Fury in like the current episode here, I think it also kind of show how like I said, they're kind of like almost the same. Was like giving a sense of like respect in each other in a way, like just going like just agreeing with each other's terms. And as you said, they could have chose to be subtle about it, but they just went straight away with it and say it because like they already know each other because they've worked together like so many years ever since like the '90s, so they kind of understand how like the other thinks and how the other is. So like they just want to put like all cards on the table, like you give me this, I give you this, and then that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And another thing, Gravik, we now see that plan. He's been wanting to go to war for a while now, but we never really knew exactly how it would play out. We saw it first initially start in episode 4 with the Russian attack on the U.S. president, and now in this episode, we see he's trying to get Skrull Rhodey to get the U.S. president to basically bomb New Skrullos.
Correct.
And essentially start the war that way. So I thought that was like a completely out of left field type of plot. Like, not plot, but I thought that was a completely like from left field idea when that arose. I was not expecting that at all. It was definitely a curveball for me because I was like, what? I mean, I guess I had the same question that Skrull Rhodey did. Is like, you want to bomb your own people?
Right.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that?
I thought like that was like a huge shock to me because
Yeah.
like he's like Gravik did all this from the very beginning to like he wanted to create a new home for like his Skrulls and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it also shows how like he's literally just become like this more military tyrant dictator. Well, he's willing to like. Again, we've shown that he's ruthless. And he's willing to sacrifice his soldiers and stuff like that. But the fact that he's now like putting in harm's way the civilian Skrulls that he's been trying to protect all this time, it shows how he's willing to do like anything at any cost
right.
to like get to like literally go to war against humans and kill them all just for the sake of finding this for the Skrulls to like take over the Earth.
I think he wants to take over planet Earth, which it's insane because like the idea of finding a new home doesn't necessarily mean let's wipe out an entire species so we can just control this like planet that we're on.
Right.
So I think it's definitely like an extreme form of getting to his goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the problem, right? Like that's why
Exactly.
like him and Fury don't see eye to eye on it. They both want the same thing, but they just are going about it in two completely different ways. So we will see how that plays out. Honestly, like I have no idea where that's gonna go, and I have no theories on that. But I definitely don't see it panning out any good. Now, my only thing is that I'm very intrigued by the fact that now the world knows about the Skrulls.
Right.
Yeah, although even though they know that, we don't really see any effect in this episode about it. So I'm either hoping we get some of that in like the final episode, or maybe some semblance of that like later on in the MCU. Maybe.
In the Marvels, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
I definitely think I see where you're coming from with that, and I definitely think that at some point later on in the MCU, at some point, just whatever, I have no specific, but I think it will affect humanity in the MCU as we know it. Just knowing that the Skrulls are now, you know what I mean? Like,
I think Earth in the MCU will eventually become like a planet to different species. Like intergalactic species. Same like as nowhere. That you go like there you have like different species there.
Yeah.
Like on Earth you have already the Asgardians.
Yeah.
You have humans. And
now Skrulls. Yeah.
I'm thinking if you have something else, well, you have Eternals, some, but I mean besides that, like, yeah, it's becoming a multi-planet species pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, golly.
Multi-species planet, but yes.
A multi-species planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Cause I actually once had like a theory of that one where like maybe by the end of it, I can almost kind of see like the remnants of like the Skrulls who are like non-violent and like were good and like mostly now who are kind of disagreeing with Gravik now, but like have to follow him due to fear. It's like maybe Fury will find some other type of place, or like maybe like keep New Skrullos like hidden, but like maybe like give them like more modern day improvements stuff like that to create a more home community thing for them, and where like New Asgard was created,
like more access to resources for them to like establish better, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
like that.
I definitely Yeah, so we will see. I think it's very interesting. I think the way things are playing out is so interesting. But that's the thing I love about the show. It keeps you on your toes. You can't assume anything.
Yeah.
You don't know. You might theorize, but you definitely can't. You're not like, oh yeah, it's definitely, like you can't predict
Right, you
anything,
can't predict.
anything without any doubt.
The
right?
only thing that we know is like regardless of the outcome, humans are gonna have to solve this scroll situation. You know,
Yeah.
one way or another, either accepting them or rejecting them,
Or getting
by
rid of them.
by killing them or by like expulsing them out of the planet, pretty much. But,
Yes.
But yeah.
Okay, so next topic I think we should talk about is definitely Gaia.
Oh, yeah.
She has
Definitely.
some interesting things to occur this episode, starting with having to bury her father. That was a very powerful and emotional scene.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Yes, very very sad. Which, yeah, I mean, you just knew Talos was dead, and
Right.
but also
That broke me. Honestly,
that scene.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
kind of expecting him to not be dead,
Right.
but they show the full like scope of his death.
Yeah,
So-
they have like a whole burial and funeral, whole
Right.
burial funeral where Nick Fury literally sent Gaia to his wife Priscilla at their home to actually help Gaia with the burial and stuff like that.
Right.
Like a nice little ceremony in there, like
Right.
for like the scroll culture. It's like, as Richard said, it was a very nice and solemn moment.
Right, and I love the little touch they gave where they give this speech in like scroll language.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't really like know exactly what they're saying, but like I love that from Marvel because I feel it gives Marvel lore and content to its universe, and it's not plain. It's not just like regular plain like CGI movies, but it has like lore and fantasy and like imagination for the universe to create like different languages and species and everything. So
Absolutely.
I really like that touching moment.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but I also find myself a little bit disappointed with Gaia in the sense that I thought this was gonna be the episode her and Fury connect, which they did, but that I guess something because in a nutshell, all she did was link with Fury. Fury let her know what happened. He guided her to Priscilla. She went to Priscilla. They buried Talos, and then they had to. She basically helped Priscilla fight off the people who came to kill her, and then that's it. That's like all we
Right.
saw from her.
Right.
And so I feel like I'm left wanting more from Emilia Clarke in this. Like I want to see her more. I want to see her more in the main plot, thick of it all.
Okay.
So my only desire is come next week's episode, she is like super involved in this. If there's like this big finale of this big war, like she's in the middle of it,
Right.
like that. I really want that to happen. But other than that, like yes, it was a very emotional scene. It's definitely very heavy because technically, like Talos is one of the, at least chronologically, right, is one of the longest running MCU characters so far
Yes. Yeah.
in the history of the MCU.
Yep.
Chronologically, I know he's fairly recent as far as like when he was actually on screen for the first time because
Right.
it was Captain Marvel, which came out like near the end of the Infinity Saga. But chronologically, he's over here in the beginning
Right.
of it all. And as we know now through watching the show, has been next to Fury through all this time, so
Yeah.
it's definitely very sad, and I wish Fury was there for that. I really do.
Same.
Yeah, like I really do wish Fury was there for that. I know probably Fury wish he was there for that,
Definitely.
but we understand why he wasn't, and so like you got to do what you got to do. I appreciate Priscilla. See, this is going back to last week's topic. Priscilla wouldn't have done this for Gaia, and I don't think she did it. I think she did it for two reasons. One, for Gaia, and for Talos because she was originally part of this side of the equation.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, when she heard that Fury asked Gaia to go do this, she like did it for Fury because
Right.
even in those scenes when they were just talking, she still talked about Fury in a very positive way.
Correct.
Yeah, she
Even-
definitely still loves him.
For sure,
Exactly.
exactly. And
Like
so,
she realized by Fury sending Gaia to her it's like he
He's
still
also
trusts her
right.
to that extent, you know, to that
Exactly.
point to send a stranger to her house.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. And I think there was like a message being sent there, like even after the events of last week's episode between them two, there's still a connection there that won't be broken, if at all, very easily. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's definitely part of the reason why I definitely like Secret Invasion and stuff. Like again, like no jokes. It basically knows what it is. It's like doesn't take stuff too seriously, but it's still serious enough because still it has light moments. But also like how it takes time for like those slow emotional moments to, like really like eat up a scene, and it just makes you feel more passionate.
Yes.
And makes you feel more better connected with like the character and stuff like
Yes.
that. Like with Gaia, Priscilla, even Gravik when he's basically talking about his goals and motivation, even though how twisted they are,
It
how
gives you
Stevie
time.
takes it.
It gives you time to care.
Exactly.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Yes, and I couldn't agree more with that. Truly, I think that's what is making this show so special and such a standout in all the shows that have been released by Marvel in the Disney Plus era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay, glad we agree on that, honestly, because it's fire. Leave a like if you agree with that.
Or leave a comment and talk about it more.
Yes. Okay, so to wrap it all up, I definitely think we should talk about the big reveal that occurred in this episode, which was the harvest, which is obviously the reason why this episode was also called Harvest. The harvest essentially is a little vial that contains the DNA of every Avenger that's ever dropped blood in battle, which obviously Gravik wants to get his hands on so that he can put it in the Super Scroll machine so that him and his other warriors can get those powers. So, obviously not good, right, for the sake of this war. If that occurs, if that happens, if that ends up being successful, that would be a very big problem.
Yeah.
They'd be unstoppable.
To say the least, obviously. So I think it's a major plot right now. I think it's definitely going to play a major role in the finale, no doubt about that. Thoughts on the harvest?
Well, I think it was pretty interesting. It's kind of something new, a new concept that we see in the MCU, like the thread of all the superheroes' DNA in one vessel, in one vial. That if a scroll obtains, in this case Gravik, is gonna get all the powers. I think it's super dangerous. I found it very interesting of why Fury collected them, like for what reason specifically. I don't know if they mentioned it in the episode, but like why
They didn't.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's the same reason why he was like, for example, developing alien weaponry in Avengers, like the first one. You know, it's like he just does it. You know, it's his job. You know, to like be 10 steps ahead of the game. You know, pretty much. But I found it pretty interesting, and I think it's, as I said, it's quite dangerous, especially if Gravik obtains it. And it's gonna play a major role in the finale. We'll see if Gravik gets the powers. If it does, like I don't know how they're gonna stop him, because like
won't.
He's already way too overpowered.
Right.
Like way too much. Like you can see
as we've seen in this episode.
Yeah, like you can see like against his other scrolls, like he's way above them. You know?
already can't kill him, and he already can kill you way quicker than he could before when he was just a scroll.
Exactly.
So if you add the components that are in this vial to that mixture, I think it's game over.
It's done.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So especially we were talking about this earlier. Fury mentioned that Danvers' powers are in this vial, and we can assume that Wanda's are as well. I think just those two alone make this just like it's literally, it might be like worse than a nuke, honestly. Because
I think it's a universe threat level.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Agreed.
Like
Yeah.
I think like only, I don't know, Kang, maybe the Watcher can stop being that strong.
Yeah.
You know.
Fair. Shoot.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, that's definitely be a major threat. Like I said, like probably like universally, like worldly, and there are different aspects of the universe like that. That'd be like how it is like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like major galactic threats like Ronan or Thanos, so like that.
Exactly.
And we'll think, yeah, it probably would take like something like the Watcher or even like Kang with the ability with time and stuff to try and finish it and take him out.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if Gravik actually does get those type of powers, it's you will literally kill every human being on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
He'll probably just want to just take over other different planet stuff to get more homes for the scrolls.
Exactly.
I agree, because I think he definitely has a purpose, right? But I think there's this part of him that also just enjoys the sense of power that he has, the position that he's in.
And on the other side of the coin, the satisfaction that gives him kind of taking revenge on a different species,
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Because it's almost like I've been hurt in this way, so
Exactly.
now I want to hurt others in this way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we will see how that plays out. As far as we know, and so we'll end with this. As far as we know, Fury currently has the vial, and he is en route to give it to Gravik.
Yeah.
He said he's gonna give it to him, actually, and I just, when he said that, that's when I lost all sights of any possibilities of what could come in the next episode.
Same.
Because I just, as we just said, I think if he actually gets that vial, Gravik, if he actually gets that vial, it's game over. So we will see. I'm hoping, I think that there will be some kind of sleight of hand there or something. Who knows, right? I don't know where that's going, but it's definitely the biggest plot point right now, because
Yep.
that's like giving your biggest enemy a free nuke in
Basically.
essence,
Yeah.
as far as real world war is concerned, right? The biggest threat you could give somebody, right? So we will see how that plays out. But I touch on that because the episode ends in my opinion, an epic way. Fury goes to Finland with Sophia to go and get the vial. But right after that, he goes into a different part of the cemetery that he's currently at, where he has a lot of stuff hidden, kind of like a cache of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And he gears up for this final scene, for this final episode, for this final battle, for this big finale, and we see kind of this glimpse of old Fury on his way, coming back, got the eye patch back.
Yeah.
Got his old leather coat that he used to wear back in the day, with the early phase of the MCU. Something like that.
Exactly. The leather coat is back. He reloaded, back up on ammo. So what are y'all I really want to hear y'all's thoughts on that final scene where he not necessarily grabs the vial, but that final scene where he just kind of gets himself ready in that mode, opens up the little case, grabs his eye patch, puts it on. It just kind of, it felt so epic.
Yeah. Well, when he puts his eye patch, I was like, okay, this is it. He's back.
He's back,
like,
right?
Finally.
Yes.
We've been waiting for this man for so long.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So many movies, so many issues in the MCU. He's finally back.
Yes.
I'm so ready for him. Hopefully he stays with us for a little longer. I hope to see him beyond, Secret Invasion in different projects in the MCU.
I agree. I definitely hope he doesn't die
Yeah,
next week.
exactly. I really hope he doesn't die, because now we have him back. I wanna see more of this Nick Fury again, but with the new team of Avengers, pretty much.
And just all the new characters.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way as you guys in horror, because I feel like that was just very badass moment there. I'm like, yeah, Nick Fury's back, baby.
Yeah.
This we've all been waiting for, what we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks of our episodes. Where we're just hoping that with this whole current events with him going to war with Gravik, it just kind of brings back the old Nick Fury, that we know back in the early films.
Right.
Exactly.
So this is a major moment. I cannot wait to see what kind of plan or something that he has or to go up against Gravik. Because even though he says he's gonna give Gravik the harvest, I feel like he has a plan or something where he might do something with it. And I just kind of think that he might maybe alter it or something where Gravik can use it, but it just has some type of effect to his scroll biology or something like that.
Maybe gives him a dud or something.
Yeah,
Or
something.
or maybe poisons it in a way where if consumed, it's actually it could kill him or something.
Or it overpowers him way too much, and he kind of implodes
Right.
from like power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
that could happen within
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but all I know was that with the way we saw with this scene, Fury's definitely gonna have a plan, and with him working with Sophia, who's like,
Absolutely.
where she's like probably like the best person in life who understands like the violence and how to get what she wants and how to get things planned out. I really think they're gonna have a really good plan here, and I think hopefully in the end maybe do something more with like the Skrull refugees and stuff like that, and hopefully maybe see Guy again, where maybe she could be like the leader of like the new of like the new civilization of like Skrull refugees that are left over after Fury and Sophia take out Gravik and his own little Skrull army.
That's a good theory. That could that would definitely be fitting. I would like to see that actually. I haven't thought about that, but I really like that. Yeah. So I couldn't agree more. Next week's episode is gonna be amazing. I hope. I mean, it's definitely set up to be amazing. I have zero reason to doubt that it will be amazing just because of the consistency of the show so far. And I think the way it's been set up, I think there's gonna be some major things, some things that will cause waves for the rest of the MCU will occur in the finale, and just a lot of excitement. I feel a lot of excitement. I one thing really quickly. I hope we get some kind of solution / answer / whatever to where the real Rhodey is, because that's still up in the air. So hopefully something with that happens in the finale. But other than that, I could not be more clueless and kind of not clueless, but like blind as to like going into this final episode. Because so many new things, so many like curveballs came into play in this week's episode.
Right.
Where like it basically sets up the finale in such a way where like it could go anywhere.
Any direction.
Yes, any direction, and I think regardless of which direction it goes, it will be epic.
Yep.
So, do you guys have any last thoughts?
No.
Okay, so with that being said, please leave a like and comment if you enjoyed this video. Give us your thoughts. Let us know how you feel about this week's episodes. Any theories? Do you agree with us? Do you not agree with us? Please let us know. We want to hear from you. Also, if you like this type of content, please consider subscribing, as it does help us out. And we will see you guys later this week for our Oppenheimer episode. We're super excited about that. We cannot wait for it. And we will also see you guys next week with our full season recap and review of the entire Secret Invasion show. We can't wait. The finale is coming. It is time. We are here. Thank you guys for keeping up with us throughout the entirety of the show. And we'll see you guys soon. Peace out.
See you guys.